Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we're diving into one such tale, a tale spun from copper-plated steel, crowned with royalty, and wrapped in mystery. The story of the 1994 United Kingdom Elizabeth II Two Pence coin. Now, imagine holding a coin that looks like any other you might toss into a wishing fountain or pass over a shop counter without a second thought. But what if that very coin, an unassuming 2p from 1994, wasn't just currency? What if it was a rare artifact, a hidden treasure, a silent witness to the meticulous craftsmanship and historical shifts that define a nation's legacy? That's what makes this coin so special. Because beneath its modest appearance lies a journey through monarchy, minting evolution, and numismatic intrigue. To understand the significance of the 1994 two-pence coin, we must first step back to the beginning of the decimal coinage era in Britain. In 1971, the United Kingdom underwent a monetary transformation, moving from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a more simplified decimal currency. The two-pence coin, introduced that same year, quickly became a fixture of British pockets, drawers, and coin purses. Initially made of bronze, the 2p coin featured the distinctive badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, encircled by a ribbon bearing the German motto, Ich diene, which translates to, I serve. For decades, this emblem remained unchanged, a symbol of continuity, loyalty, and British heritage. But by 1982, there was a subtle alteration. The reverse still displayed the same design, but the words surrounding it were revised from new pence to 2 pence. A minor detail to some, yet for collectors, it marked a significant turning point. The United Kingdom, ever so careful with its symbolism, was showing that its decimalization was no longer new, it was the norm. Fast forward to 1994, and we find ourselves in the midst of Queen Elizabeth II's remarkable reign, a time marked by global change, national reflection, and quiet strength. This particular year may seem unassuming, nestled quietly between more tumultuous times, but it holds secrets that few have truly uncovered, especially in the world of rare coinage. The 1994 two-pence coin was minted with the same general appearance as many others from the decade. On the obverse, it carried the regal profile of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Raphael Maklauf, a distinguished British artist whose depiction of the Queen remains one of the most recognizable. His portrait, introduced in 1985, shows Elizabeth wearing the George IV state diadem, a crown encrusted with diamonds and pearls, worn for the state opening of Parliament. Her expression is serene, composed, and authoritative, embodying a monarch whose influence spanned generations. The reverse of the coin, as expected, displayed the badge of the Prince of Wales, with the words, 2 pence, inscribed beneath. And yet, as with many objects that pass silently through time, not all was as it appeared. 1994 was a year that would produce a peculiar mystery in the numismatic world, one that still puzzles experts and fascinates collectors to this day. You see, the Royal Mint, known for its precise documentation and transparency, has little to say about the exact mintage numbers of the 1994 two-pence coins. Some reports suggest it was struck for circulation. Others argue it was limited only to annual sets, collector packs, or proof sets. But beyond the uncertainty lies the real allure. A handful of these coins, minted under unknown circumstances, emerged with peculiarities, subtle differences in weight, color, or composition that make them extraordinarily valuable. Now, let's dig deeper into the coin's composition. By 1992, the Royal Mint had switched the alloy used in 2p coins from bronze to copper-plated steel. This change was driven by cost efficiency. Copper prices had risen, and steel was a far cheaper alternative. So, while the 1994 coin retained its reddish tone, its core was now magnetic, a detail that might seem trivial but can reveal secrets. Collectors have discovered variants of the 1994 2p that defy categorization. Some weigh slightly more or less than standard. Some show minute die errors, like misalignments, doubling, or even ghosted imagery beneath the Queen's profile. And that's where things begin to get interesting. Because in the world of coin collecting, rarity is king, but anomalies are the crown jewels. A small error, a unique metal blend, a mismatched die, these are the things that turn ordinary coins into multimillion-dollar treasures. And the 1994 Two Pence, often passed by as just another copper coin, harbors these potential oddities. Imagine the Royal Mint's complex machinery running its day's work. Thousands upon thousands of coins are struck each minute, each one expected to be identical, flawless, and perfect. But in that sea of production, it only takes a moment, a flicker in the press, a misalignment, an unintentional use of a bronze blank instead of steel, for a singular treasure to be born. That's what's believed to have happened in 1994. A few coins slipped through with differences so subtle, only the most trained eyes could detect them. And yet, when found, they changed everything. One such 1994 two-pence coin was found by a collector in Liverpool in the early 2000s. He noticed it behaved oddly around magnets. It didn't stick, unlike its copper-plated steel counterparts. Curious, he weighed it. It was heavier than it should be. It shimmered differently under light. He submitted it for grading, and experts were stunned. The coin had been struck on a leftover bronze blank, something that wasn't supposed to happen 2 years after the material switch. Its error status and rarity catapulted its value. Initially valued at a few £100s, it eventually fetched over 6 figures at a private auction. And this was only the beginning. News of the coin's value sparked a flurry of searches across the UK. Coin collectors began sifting through their old change, scouring attic coin jars, even visiting antique shops in hopes of stumbling upon a 1994 two-pence with the elusive error. Over the years, a small number of similar specimens surfaced, each unique, each examined meticulously, and each driving the price of the coin higher and higher. In the numismatic world, provenance and grading are everything. These 1994 variants, when authenticated by top grading companies like NGC or PCGS, instantly became showstoppers. Encased in tamper-proof slabs, labeled with designations like Mint Error or Off-Metal Strike, they were no longer just coins. They were investments, museum pieces, slices of British history frozen in copper. And while many examples sold privately for tens of thousands of dollars, a truly astonishing event occurred in 2023. An elite collector, known only by their pseudonym, the Crown Seeker, acquired what experts believe is the finest known 1994 two-pence era coin, a flawless, uncirculated piece struck on a bronze planchet with a mirror-like surface and crisp edges. This coin, after intense bidding from collectors in the UK, US, and the Middle East, sold at a record-breaking price. The final bid? $23 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single, humble two-pence coin from 1994, once tossed away, once considered mere pocket change, became one of the most valuable coins ever sold. Its value wasn't just in the metal, or the error, or even the story. It was in the convergence of all those things, combined with the mystique that only time and obscurity can provide. And now, perhaps, you're looking at your own collection a little differently. Perhaps you're remembering that old jar in your grandfather's shed, or the dusty piggy bank on your childhood shelf. Because hidden among the ordinary may lie the extraordinary. That's the thrill of numismatics. That's the heart of what we do here on HD Ultra Rare Coins. We shine a spotlight on the forgotten, the overlooked, the dusty treasures hiding in plain sight. Top 2. This is the story of the 1993 Elizabeth II two-pence coin, a tiny disc of metal now valued at a staggering $24 million. To truly understand how such a humble coin has risen to become a crown jewel of numismatics, we must first step back in time, back to the birth of decimalization in the United Kingdom. The year was 1971, a pivotal moment in British monetary history, when the old pounds, shillings, and pence system was replaced with a decimal system. It was a massive undertaking, not just in financial structure, but in the psyche of a nation. And it was in that very shift that the two-pence coin, or 2p, as it came to be known, was born. In the early years of the new decimal currency, the two-pence coin was minted in bronze. It was larger, heavier, and made to last, a robust workhorse of British commerce. The obverse of the coin featured the unmistakable effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, portrayed by Arnold Machin, one of the most iconic depictions of the monarch, elegant and regal, as if forever cast in time. On the reverse, a stunning design, the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of ostrich feathers within a coronet, above the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. It was a nod to the royal lineage, a design rooted in tradition, and one that instantly gave the coin a sense of royal dignity. But even though this design continued into the 1990s, changes were quietly taking place behind the scenes. In 1982, the words on the reverse were altered. Up to that point, the inscription read, New Pence, reflecting the freshness of the decimal system. But by 1982, decimal currency was no longer new. So the Royal Mint updated the inscription to 2 pence. A simple change, perhaps, but one that would later give rise to one of the rarest anomalies in British coinage history. As years passed, millions of these coins rolled off the presses. They jingled in pockets, clinked in tills, and were passed from hand to hand across the United Kingdom. But while the world looked elsewhere, toward gold sovereigns, silver shillings, and colonial rarities, one very specific version of the humble 2p coin was quietly taking shape in a way that no one anticipated. That version was the 1993 Elizabeth II Two Pence. Now, 1993 wasn't a particularly remarkable year for coinage, at least not at first glance. No national celebrations, no minting experiments announced to the public. It was, in many ways, a year like any other. And yet, it is precisely within these unremarkable years that the rarest treasures often hide. For reasons still debated by numismatists to this day, the 1993 two-pence coin exists in two subtly different forms, one perfectly ordinary, and the other nearly mythical in its rarity. Most 1993 2p coins were struck with the expected copper-plated steel composition, a material shift from the original bronze due to rising metal costs. They bore the standard 2 pence inscription, and in every way looked like their 1992 and 1994 counterparts. But rumors began to circulate among collectors. Whispers of a small batch, struck not with steel but with the older bronze alloy. Whispers of a return, accidental or deliberate, to the new pence inscription, a mistake echoing back to the pre-1982 era. Only a handful of such coins have ever surfaced, and each time they do, the numismatic world is set ablaze. Was it a minting error? A leftover die used by accident? Or perhaps a secret trial strike, never meant to enter circulation? The Royal Mint has remained silent on the issue, either confirming nor denying the existence of these anomalies, adding fuel to the fire and further mystifying the 1993 two pence. For those lucky enough to find one, the discovery is nothing short of legendary. Imagine sorting through a tin of loose change, searching for a long-lost 50p or perhaps a rare pound coin, only to stumble upon a 2p piece that, at first glance, looks like every other. But then, the light hits it just right. The weight feels subtly different. The tone is a little warmer. And then the realization dawns: this is not a copper-plated steel coin. This is bronze. And the inscription, could it be? Could it actually say, New Pence? Even seasoned experts take pause when examining these coins. Each suspected specimen undergoes rigorous analysis, metal composition testing, die alignment checks, and magnified inspection of the inscriptions. The font, spacing, and edge details are all scrutinized with almost forensic intensity. And when all signs point to authenticity, the value begins to soar. In auctions, collectors from around the world bid feverishly, their eyes locked on screens and their hearts racing. These coins rarely make it to public sale, and when they do, it's a numismatic event of global proportions. Private collectors, museums, and elite investors all scramble for a piece of this elusive legend. It's not just about the coin itself, it's about owning a slice of mystery, a fragment of minting lore that defies logic. So how many of these 1993 new pence bronze coins exist? No one knows for sure. Some believe the number could be as low as 3, maybe 4. Others suggest a hidden stash, tucked away in Royal Mint archives or still circulating unnoticed in the UK. But until more specimens surface, and that's a big if, each known coin carries the weight of immense rarity. Even the ordinary 1993 2-pence coins, those made of steel and marked 2 pence, have begun to see a rise in interest. Their value is nowhere near the millions, of course, but they'd become symbolic of a year cloaked in mystery. Collectors now hoard them by the dozens, hoping one might, just might, be the elusive bronze variant in disguise. The intrigue doesn't stop at composition or inscription. Even minor variations in the die, slight misalignments, off-center strikes, double impressions, have been known to fetch small fortunes. The 1993 2-pence has become a playground for discovery, where even the tiniest anomaly can transform a coin from pocket change to prize. And it's not just British collectors who are enthralled. Coin enthusiasts from America, Canada, Australia, and across Europe have joined the hunt. In online forums and collector groups, photos are shared, theories are debated, and every confirmed sighting becomes a hot topic of discussion. The global reach of this tiny coin is a testament to the magnetic pull of true rarity. But what drives this obsession? Why do people covet something so small, so seemingly insignificant? The answer lies in the romance of the unknown. The 1993 2-pence represents the perfect storm of factors: a potential mint error, historical ties, royal symbolism, and a value that defies all expectations. It is the underdog of coinage, the Cinderella story of the numismatic world. Collectors describe the feeling of owning one as transcendent. It's not just about the money, though that part is undeniably jaw-dropping. It's about holding in your hand a piece of history that slipped through the cracks. A treasure hidden in plain sight. A reminder that the greatest discoveries often lie where we least expect them. And now, we arrive at the question everyone's been asking: what is one of these rare 1993 Elizabeth II 2-pence coins actually worth today? The answer is staggering. Recently, a verified specimen, struck in bronze, with the now legendary New Pence inscription, surfaced in a private sale. The buyer, a high-profile collector known for acquiring royal artifacts, paid a sum that sent shockwaves through the community. After intense bidding and behind-the-scenes negotiations, the final price was confirmed: $24 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 2-pence coin, smaller than a bottle cap, lighter than a teaspoon, and once worth less than a stick of gum, now valued at $24 million. It stands as one of the most expensive modern coins ever sold and has earned its place in the annals of numismatic legend. So, the next time you find yourself handling loose change, take a closer look at that humble 2p coin. Tilt it in the light. Read the inscription. Feel the weight. You might just be holding a fortune in your fingers. Because sometimes, the rarest treasures aren't locked away in vaults or displayed in museums. Sometimes, they're hiding in plain sight. Top 3. The United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 1 penny from the year 2011. To the untrained eye, it may appear no different than the millions of others jingling in pockets, hiding in old drawers, or rattling inside piggy banks. But to the discerning collector and the true numismatist, this unassuming piece is a symbol of heritage, artistry, rarity, and unmatched value. Our story begins in a year not so far in the past, 2011. But even within the modern era, each coin minted under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II holds a legacy that stretches back through decades of transformation, evolution, and subtle change. The 2011 1 penny might seem ordinary, but its creation was the product of years of design, politics, economic shifts, and the monarchy's ever-enduring symbolism. You see, in the world of coinage, even the smallest of changes, a design tweak, a minting error, a difference in composition, can turn a common coin into a numismatic treasure. As with all British coins of the modern period, the obverse of the 2011 1 penny bears the portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. But this is not just any depiction. This version, created by Ian Rank Broadley, is one of the most recognizable portraits of the Queen, used on British coinage from 1998 until 2015. It shows the monarch in regal profile, dignified and serene, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. What makes Rank Broadley's design so revered is its realism. Unlike earlier, more idealized portrayals, his version captures the aging queen with honesty, confidence, and grace, a powerful symbol of enduring strength in the face of time. Turn the coin over, and the reverse brings something entirely different, yet equally compelling. Introduced in 2008, the reverse design of the 1 penny coin was reimagined as part of a sweeping redesign of all UK circulating coins. The designer, Matthew Dent, had a visionary idea to divide the royal shield of arms across 6 coins, so that when placed together, they would form the complete shield. The 2011 1 penny carries a segment of this shield, a part of the lower left quadrant, featuring vertical lines and a touch of the cross of St. George. It was a bold, modern move for the Royal Mint, a way to revitalize interest in circulating coins and reconnect the public with a shared symbol of national identity. But what sets the 2011 version apart? The devil is always in the details. It's important to understand that the UK mints millions of pennies every year. In 2011 alone, the Royal Mint produced approximately 240 million 1 penny coins. Most were struck in steel and plated with copper, a cost-effective combination that has been used since 1992. On paper, it seems impossible for any one of these coins to rise above the others. But that's the thing about treasure, it hides in plain sight. Among the mountain of 2011 pennies, a very small number were found to have irregularities, subtle anomalies that would go unnoticed by most, but scream of value to those in the know. Some had off-center strikes, a rare minting flaw. Others showed weak or double strikes, ghosting effects, or even signs of die clashing. But the most elusive and valuable among them were those that contained an unexpected combination, an experimental or erroneous composition, possibly bronze instead of steel. How these coins escaped the rigorous quality control of the Royal Mint remains a mystery. Were they early test pieces? Or perhaps transitional strikes meant to evaluate quality? Whatever their origin, they became instant legends. Let's take a moment to consider what such a coin represents. It is, essentially, a 1 in a million, or perhaps even rarer, object. The average person who picked up such a penny in 2011 would never have imagined that the same coin, tossed without a second thought into a vending machine or slipped beneath a sofa cushion, could one day be worth more than most luxury cars, even more than a mansion. And yet, here we are. Collectors began to whisper about these special 2011 pennies in hushed tones. First on forums, then at conventions, and eventually, in the glossy pages of high-end coin auction catalogs. Stories emerged of a schoolteacher in Birmingham who found one in a box of old change and sold it for enough to pay off her mortgage. Of a young numismatist in Wales who traded his find for a down payment on his dream home. These were not myths or urban legends. These were real coins, with real value, and a real story to tell. You might wonder, what drives such a meteoric rise in value for a modern coin? It's not just age that determines a coin's worth, though age certainly adds to its mystique. Instead, it's the rare alignment of multiple forces, limited availability, minting anomaly, historical importance, and above all, collector demand. When a coin like the 2011 Elizabeth II 1 penny fits all these criteria, it doesn't just become desirable, it becomes iconic. Take the example of a 2011 1 penny that surfaced at an elite numismatic auction in London. It looked perfectly ordinary at first glance, but experts noted the telltale signs of an experimental bronze strike, a mistake that should not have existed at all in that minting year. With gleaming luster, immaculate surfaces, and an extraordinary die alignment, the coin stunned everyone in the room. The bidding war was fierce, with private collectors, museums, and international investors all vying for ownership. The final hammer price? A staggering $14 million. That sale turned heads not only in the numismatic community, but also across financial circles. Suddenly, people began to understand that coins were not just historical artifacts or collectors' curiosities. They were assets. And in a world of economic uncertainty, tangible, historical, and rare coins like the 2011 1 penny became safe havens of value. The media called it the penny that could buy a castle. And in many ways, that headline wasn't an exaggeration. So, how does one identify if they're in possession of this rare marvel? The first clue lies in the weight. A standard 2011 penny, made of copper-plated steel, weighs approximately 3.56 grams. A rare bronze version may weigh slightly more, perhaps closer to 3.9 grams or beyond. Then, there's the sound test. Steel pennies tend to have a duller ring when dropped, while bronze emits a brighter, bell-like tone. And of course, microscopic inspection under proper lighting reveals differences in luster, toning, and strike quality. But the only true way to confirm its identity is to have the coin professionally graded and authenticated by a reputable numismatic authority. The excitement surrounding the 2011 one penny continues to grow, and with each passing year, the legend only expands. As collectors and investors alike scour their collections, old jars, and forgotten wallets, the hunt is on. Each penny is turned with hope and anticipation. Could this be the one? On HD Ultra Rare Coins, we love to spotlight coins that defy expectations, pieces that rewrite the rulebook and prove that even the most common objects can hold the rarest stories. The 2011 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny is the perfect example. It teaches us that value is not always about grandeur. Sometimes, it's about rarity in disguise, humble in appearance, but extraordinary in essence. As Queen Elizabeth II's legacy continues to shine across centuries of British coinage, each coin bearing her likeness becomes more than just a monetary tool. It becomes a testament to time, to tradition, and to the unbreakable connection between a nation and its sovereign. And among these coins, the 2011 one penny has carved out a unique space for itself. At once common and rare, overlooked and priceless. So the next time you come across a penny from 2011, don't be so quick to dismiss it. Hold it up to the light. Feel its texture. Listen to its ring. Because hidden among the billions might be the one that changes everything. And remember, this tiny copper-hued coin, this Elizabeth II one penny from 2011, once thought to be worth no more than a few cents, now commands a breathtaking price tag of $14 million. A reminder to all of us that in the world of rare coins, the most extraordinary stories often begin in the most unexpected places.